Later this week, we are confirmed to be getting new Apple products for the second time this year already. It's not going to be a full-on March event with invites and a huge production, but a new iPhone, new MacBook Air, new Mac Pro, and possibly one other thing. They are just around the corner, and I'm super excited. First of all, I want to start off with the iPhone because that new iPhone, according to sources that have spoke with Mac Rumors as well as some others in the community, is a new version of the iPhone 14. In fact, a yellow colorway that Apple had not released yet. But how is this going to look exactly? Well, I worked with my boy Shay over at Concept Central to just create a quick mock-up of the colorway that we envision Apple dropping in just a couple of hours. Now, we're guessing that this is a more pale yellow or subdued yellow, something a bit more chilled out, because in recent history, I mean, we know Apple's colors have just been all over the place, and sometimes they're doing bright and punchy, sometimes they're doing a little pale throw-up color like this iPhone that we rendered. It's fine. I'm sure it'll look better. I hope Apple just like give us pops of color. They're like light pink, light blue. I guess last year they technically did do this with the green iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. I actually think they freaking nailed those colors. They're so good looking, and I regret to this day never buying the green 13 Pro. So instead of green this year, we're definitely getting yellow on the standard 14, but I'm curious if Apple's going to do the same double Pro and non-Pro colors like last year, and we're also going to get maybe that sunset yellow Pro we've heard about. Because this isn't a color that I just want. This is a color that I would actually need to survive, similar to oxygen, food, and water. Maybe it's just me. Let me know if you guys would buy this. So that's the first part of this week. That is actually confirmed to be happening according to multiple reputable sources. So look out for that Monday or Tuesday. But guys, that is just the first part of the fun, because Apple also has two other major products dropping very soon. The first of those two being a 15-inch version of the MacBook Air. We have heard about this time and time again from the most reputable source in the industry, Ross Young. And he has stated that around the March-April timeline, we're getting this new MacBook Air. And Apple themselves has just confirmed accidentally they did the classic Apple oopsie with a new filing in the Bluetooth database. As initially noted by Mac Rumors, Apple has filed a new listing in the Bluetooth Launch Studio database, and we can see that page for ourselves actually right here. That doesn't flat out say it's going to be a new Mac. But if you put the puzzle pieces together of the other things about a new Mac coming, 5.3 being the newest standard that Apple started throwing on all of their new stuff, there's no iPads coming out, there's no AirPods coming out, it points to one thing, and that thing is going to be this MacBook Air, almost for sure. It could be the new Mac Pro, we'll talk about in a second. Apple just straight up said they're doing that. That's a thing in a second. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. This 5.3 listing is significant because it genuinely does mean that Apple is about to drop something sooner rather than later. Oh, by the way, Bluetooth 5.3, what does that actually mean? Because that is a newer technology that Apple is throwing on a lot of their latest products. It's going to improve efficiency and likely reliability. I think between 5.0 and 5.3, there have also been some range improvements for Bluetooth as well. And I have some weird issues with Bluetooth on my Mac Studio. Guess what that has? That has 5.0. So that is the 5.3 part, and that is the leading indicator that this is going to be in that new 15-inch with an M2 chip. But I also think Apple could throw maybe an M2 Pro in here as well, because I was talking to Luke Miani, and he was telling me like it doesn't really make sense for an M2 chip to be the only option 10 months after it came out in 2022. And I was like, damn, bro, you're kind of right. High five, Luke Miani. That was him giving me a high five. So maybe M2 Pro inside the 15-inch MacBook Air. That would be also a nice way to slightly differentiate it from the lower end model. Or according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, this could even be Apple's M3 chip, who has revealed that not only is a new iMac with an M2 or M3 chip just a couple of months away, but that Apple could be putting that new chip inside of the new MacBook Air models. And from the way this is worded, it appears that this new iMac is going to come in the same colors as the existing model, and that the main upgrade inside will be the new chip. There's not going to be a new design or anything like that, but the MacBook Air with an M3 chip would potentially be much more imminent, maybe within the next month or so. And this would actually be a really big step because M3 is based off of a 3 nanometer architecture versus 5, so the efficiency and the power is going to be a super significant jump, where the M2 was kind of a smaller update. Okay, but here's the thing. I want to come clean. I gotta get this off my heart. It's also possible that this Bluetooth 5.3 listing could also not be the 15-inch MacBook Air. It's actually possible that this could be the Mac Pro. Remember the big expensive Mac that still has the Intel chip and to this day is the last computer that is yet to get Apple Silicon? Even though Apple promised a full transition within 2 years, they've missed that timeline, and for about a year now, they've been radio silent on the Mac Pro. They hinted last March that a new one was coming, but since then, absolutely nothing, leading myself and others to question, if it had just been canceled and the Mac Studio was the Mac Pro's replacement. Well, no worries, because Apple, in a recent interview with India Today, just clarified the whole situation. Here's the quote. We believe strongly that Apple Silicon... Okay, this is just boilerplate. Here's the quote that matters. We've been very clear from the beginning that our goal is to take our entire product line to Apple Silicon, and that's something we intend to do. So Apple, in response here, was like, we know we're a little bit late on the Mac Pro, but just because we're being silly little guys doesn't mean that we've forgotten about it. Which is great news, because the Mac Studio is great, but a lot of pros, they want something modular, which leads into this other story that I am so excited about, because you know how for months, I and many others have said, if the Mac Pro is coming, how is it going to be different than the Mac Studio? The one criticism has been if there's only going to be an M2 Ultra chip, which is going to be very similar to Apple's M1 Ultra, already in the Mac Studio, why does the Mac Pro exist? Why is Apple making this way more expensive computer that's basically the same as the Mac Studio? Well, apparently the answer to that is going to be modularity, because in a recent beta software from Apple, 9to5Mac did some digging and found some interesting stuff packed in here that I don't think was supposed to be public yet. Because hidden in the code is evidence that Apple is working on this thing called a compute module, which is a brand new device that runs a variant of iOS, and there's two separate compute modules in development. Dude, I'm so excited talking about this, because the compute module, according to 9to5Mac, can mean one of two things. Number one, this could finally be a dedicated GPU specifically for the Mac Pro, meaning that finally, after all this time, we could have a serious Apple-designed graphics solution for the Mac. Not built in, not the cores tied to the CPU. I'm talking about an entirely separate, dedicated GPU that could very realistically be as good as something that NVIDIA has been putting out with their crazy 4090s and the other stuff. The other part, probably less realistic than just the dedicated graphics. It could be that Apple could, for the first time ever, allow you to swap out your entire system in a package, your entire M2 chip. When the M3 comes out, instead of buying a new Mac Pro, these compute modules could be M2 Ultra comes out and you put your M3 Ultra compute module in the Mac Pro. Now, I know that this is kind of untraditional and that Apple has never done that before, but remember that with the Mac Pro, Apple needs to make this a compelling device different enough from others. And I think pros would absolutely nut. I don't know if I can say that, but I'm going to say it because I would, if I could swap out my CPU instead of just buying a new computer every year, because that's what I do as I buy the new stuff to get the fastest power. That would be so cool if it was interchangeable. So this is a lot. This video has talked about a yellow iPhone coming, the new MacBook Air, and the most details ever. Again, this stuff I'm talking about in the video is confirmed. It's in the code. This isn't like a sketchy rumor. Everything that I just told you, either Apple has confirmed themselves or reputable sources that are incredibly accurate have said, or it's just in the code. It's so fun to make videos like this because it means stuff is imminent and it means I've got a job for the foreseeable future. Okay, thank you guys for watching this. Love you so much. More videos coming soon. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.